Good morning and welcome. Time again for another edition of your guide on aviation business and related issues, Aviator World. I'm Dr Anuforom. Today we shall be examining the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. This United Nations agency is the standards organization that specifies principles and protocol of civil aviation worldwide and ensures the orderly development of air transport. A Nigerian was recently elected as the president of this body. His name is Dr. Anuforom. Today we shall be looking at the benefits and import of that election into ICAO's presidency to the Nigerian aviation industry. This forms the thrust of our discussion this morning. In the studio this morning to take a look at these very all-important development is Dr. Anuforom. Dr. Anuforom is the Director General of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. Sir, you're welcome to Aviator World.
Thank you very much, Charles. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. But before we turn to Dr. Anuforom to take a look at the benefit of the election of Nigeria to this very prestigious position, let's take a look at this report, and when we come back, we will be taking a look at the issues as they unfold.
The International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, was established in 1944 by the United Nations. As a specialized agency of the UN, it sets out the principles and techniques of international air navigation and promotes the safe and orderly development of air transport throughout the world.
For aviation to operate safely anywhere in the world, many things have to be done, and those rules come from ICAO decisions. So if the decisions are wise, the security and safety of the airplanes all over the world is going to be a good one.
ICAO, as a standards organization, has 191 countries that are signatories to the Convention on International Civil Aviation, otherwise known as the Chicago Convention. Nigeria, being among the member countries, has since the commencement of the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan strive to uphold the universal standards set by the organization in every aspect of the nation's aviation sector.
It's the foundation that Mr. President put in place. It's the policy, the safety policy. It's the enabling environment that Mr. President put in place. The aviation sector has gone a very, very long way. We're in compliance with the safety policies and standards. We have improved immensely on what was in place before Mr. President came into administration.
This has not gone unnoticed, as for the first time in ICAO's 69-year-old history, a Nigerian and African, Dr. Olumuyiwa Bernard Aliyu, was unanimously elected president of the organization's council at its 38th General Assembly in Montreal, Canada on November 18, 2013.
The Council is the governing body of the organization. It is highly respected by the international community. I know that Dr. Aliyu understands very well what is the responsibility as President of the Council and what is the responsibility of the Council. I want to ask all of you to support him as you did it to me. My job would be impossible without the support of all of you.
We know Dr. Aliyu for many years. You know, he's been here since 2005, and he's a very good council rep, very reasonable, very balanced, and very knowledgeable. We are very confident that he, as the president of the ICAO Council, will be able to helm all the discussions and discharge all the responsibilities for this very important organization. So that's why we are so confident. My government is very confident of Dr. Aliyu's candidature, and we give our full support for him.
This election is indicative of the milestones Nigeria has achieved in the transformation of the aviation industry under the strict supervision of Princess Stella Odua and her team, with the unwavering support of President Goodluck Jonathan.
Transformation ongoing in the civil aviation sector in Nigeria, and that has been noticed by the world. As you recall, just before this we had the ICAO Assembly, in which Nigeria was overwhelmingly re-elected into the ICAO Council. That is a testimony to the efforts of the government in the aviation sector. That is a global recognition for what we have been able to do.
it was because of the transformation that threw out Dr. Aliyu to be noticed by the rest of the world. For the world, through ICAO, acknowledged the improvements in the aviation industry in Nigeria. Things that were not there before are there now. And so it's an acknowledgement of the changes in the sector in Nigeria.
The inherent benefits of the ICAO presidency to Nigeria are numerous. Aside the honor and dignity it brings to the country, it will attract the attention of genuine aviation investors into the Nigerian market, as more bilateral air service agreements with other countries could be fast-tracked.
Dr. Aliyu was instrumental. If you check on the projects, aviation safety and security projects for Africa, we have partners from Europe, we have the partners from the US, from the UK, all these big brothers, if I may call it that way. So I think to a certain extent, or to a large extent, Dr. Aliyu has been instrumental in that.
The glory goes to the federal government of Nigeria, His Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. The glory goes to the Honorable Minister of Aviation, because the government has given me unprecedented support and put at our disposal during this process leading to this election all the facilities, all the resources that is required.
Indeed, the support President Jonathan and the Minister of Aviation Stella Odua gave to the election of Dr. Aliyu as president of ICAO is priceless as far as the transformation of the Nigerian aviation industry is concerned. It remains glaring that foresight and vision is the driving force behind this development.
Well, it's nice to know you're still there. It's Aviation World, Aviator World, where we take a look at developments in the aviation sector, not only in Nigeria, but outside the shores of Nigeria. And there you have it as how it happened in Montreal, Canada, where a Nigerian, an African, the first black to be elected to become the president of the World Aviation Regulatory Body, ICAO. And like I told you earlier, I've been joined this morning by the Director General of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, Dr. Anthony Anuforom. Doctor, you saw that report, how it went down in Montreal, and Dr. Aliyu stating it very, very clearly that he got the support of the president, he got the support of the government of Nigeria through the aviation minister, Stella Odua, and all of you who are in the sector. What do you make of the development? I think we'll start from there.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Charles. Indeed, we must recognize that ICAO is an agency of the United Nations. And what the success we have recorded, we must say, is a success for Mr. President's foreign policy initiatives. This is a major achievement of the transformation agenda when it comes to the foreign policy issues, because ICAO is an agency of the United Nations. Now, you had it by yourself, you know, the gentleman, Dr. Aliyu, who I know very, very well for more than a decade and a half, he has acknowledged that his election is the result of the support he enjoyed from home base, from Mr. President and from the Honorable Minister, perhaps unknown to so many people, for more than a year, based on the Honorable Minister's strategy, because she's a strategist. The ministry, with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, embarked on huge and extensive foreign campaign. Officers from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Permanent Secretary, have crisscrossed the length and breadth of this globe, garnering support for Dr. Aliyu. This is part of the minister's strategy to make sure that Mr. President's objective with regard to ICAO presidency is actualized. And that is what is manifesting. And permit me to say that Dr. Aliyu himself is a product of the Nigerian aviation sector.
So he didn't go there on his own?
No, he couldn't have. Nobody goes there on his own. You must be representing some country. No matter how, I mean, he's a very knowledgeable gentleman. He started his career in the Ministry of Aviation in those days as an airworthiness surveyor, having had a doctorate degree in aeronautics. That prepared him. And the rest of it was development as part of the aviation ministry. From there, he even served as a special assistant to
a former
aviation minister, the late Shego Agagu. Dr. Aliu was his SA for the period he was aviation minister. From there, he moved on to be the pioneer director of air transport regulation in NCAA. In fact, it was from there now he moved on to into ICAO as Nigeria representative. And I want to add also that this is part of what consistency and continuity can achieve.
Yeah,
because he has been there uninterrupted. If he went there and after 1 year he called back, another person put there, he wouldn't be able to develop himself to the point where even his colleagues acknowledge that, yes, this is a material to be president of ICAO.
I do know that ICAO is positioned to set standards, determine what is done, particularly with respect to civil aviation across the world, whether in the United States, whether in the UK, and perhaps that informs the usual cliche that there's one aviation and it's not based on Nigerian standard or Europe standard. Can you say that the belief in some quarters that not much is being done to develop the aviation sector in Nigeria is one news that is not hitting those persons out there for them to, for the likes of UK, the likes of United States, to have confidence to say, Nigeria, you can lead us in setting the standards?
Absolutely. You see, when we say, make some of these comments we make at home, I begin to wonder, the rest of the world is saying and acknowledging in practical terms, by the kind of support, by the kind of recognition Nigeria enjoys, that you guys are doing it well. And here at home, we hear voices here and there making comments. But let me also say that when we talk about assessing a system, of course, there is no Nigerian aviation standard. It is either you're doing it, I mean, there's no local standard when it comes to aviation. And that is what ICAO is doing, to regulate and to monitor and all that, the safety, security, economic, and legal, and all technical dimensions of practice of aviation. So when they say we are doing it right, there are indices they use to measure us. Indices that are not subjective. They are objective indices. Based on this incident, they don't look at anybody, they don't look at who you are. It's either you got it right or you got it wrong. Based on these indices, ICAO is saying we are doing it right. The rest of the world is saying we are doing it right. And I wonder how at home a few voices will say we are not doing it right. The question, let me add this, the question, the challenge I want to throw, what are your indices? Is it your personal feelings? Is it your biases about whoever is in office?
But people make comments based on the information available to them. If I am to fly and I hear that maybe about a week or two that a particular plane crashed, that is the information available to me. I assume you are not doing what you needed to do. So how do you convince me that yes, that these incidents, which you say is isolated, does not in any way say that you are doing those things that you are saying, telling the world that you are doing?
Okay, air crashes, very unfortunate. Nobody desires them. Not even the pilot wants to die. But there are unfortunate things that happen. But the fact that you have crashes does not mean that those things are not done. Don't forget that the aircraft itself is a product of human brain. It's technology. It can fail. That it fails here and there does not mean that it's not. And by the way, air crashes are universal phenomena. As we are talking, we have recent cases of people falling out from aircraft in places like America. We had crash in Nashville the other time, an early morning
the one that
crash.
is unnoticed.
Nobody noticed it for 3.5 hours, and probably it would have gone unnoticed. It was a pilot who was either landing or taking off that saw it from a higher altitude and called the control. I noticed some smoke at so and so place. Can you guys go and check what is wrong? That was how, and I'm talking about Nashville International Airport in the US. There was crash recently in Russia. So these things do happen. Unfortunate as they are, undesirable as they are, they do happen. But they do not mean we are not doing what we are supposed
But
to do.
I
And that is why we talk about collective or shared responsibility. Everybody must do his own bit within that framework. Shared responsibility, but differentiated roles. Everybody must play his role. There is role for NCAA, NAMA, NIMET. There is role for the minister, and so on. There is also a role
for the operator.
For the operator. Even within the framework, within the cycle of the operator, there is role for everybody. There is role for the pilot. There is role for the dispatcher. A chain is, as they often say, is as strong as the weakest link. So if there is any weak link, and you do not expect that Mr. President or the Honorable Minister will go and check every nut and bolt to give you confidence, then I don't think it happens anywhere. And remember, we said there is one aviation standard.
Now let's come back to what happened in Montreal, Canada, with the election of Dr. Liu, a Nigerian,
yes,
to head this global body, yes, that set the standards as far as civil aviation is concerned. What does that mean to us? Anybody could have said, how does it change the price of crayfish in the market? Yes, he has been elected. How does it affect us as a people?
Oh, the gains are enormous. First of all, it is an acknowledgement that, or vote of confidence, if I may call it that, on the Nigerian aviation sector. It is an acknowledgement that what the Ministry of Aviation, what the Minister of Aviation is doing, implementing Mr. President's transformation agenda as far as aviation is concerned, it means that we are getting it right. Furthermore, I mean, the president of a UN agency is a powerful position that any country will covet. It is a position of influence. It definitely, his position there would definitely attract better attention of investors, better attention of those who want to do business, aviation business in Nigeria. And don't forget that whether you like it or not, there are what we may call appurtenances of office. I'm not talking about booty or whatever. Because you are there as president, certain things naturally, people come to you for one thing or the other. And of course,
you have first-hand information with respect to your own country and your region.
And I expect, of course, that with Dr. Liu there, even without his asking, without saying it, definitely benefits should accrue to us. And this will trickle down, that in the sense that our aviation, all the things we plan to do about safety, capacity development, and so on, would become easier. The rest of the world will now have respect for us. They want to do business with us because the president of ICAO is a Nigerian.
All right, I will hold it there. Let's listen to the aviation minister, Stella Odua, and also get to know what she feels about this development with as it affects Nigeria, and indeed the development in the aviation sector. When we come back, I'll be taking you on how this will challenge those of you in the aviation sector to continue to do those things that ICAO believes should be done with a view to eliciting a confidence on the average flyer. Let's take a look at the view of the minister.
So many things we are putting in place. We are putting in the policy of ensuring that capacity building, which we have commenced, is still on course. We are putting in policies to ensure that young Nigerians will aspire to become the next ICAO presidents when the time comes, which means we must continue building capacity. But most importantly, domesticating MROs in Nigeria and ensuring that Nigeria becomes the hub, not just the hub for commerce, but the three hubs we are talking about: the training hub, which means that we will be a production line for aviation sector within the region and surpass that. Also to ensure that we are able to concretize the commercial hub, which also means that we'll be able to funnel in passengers into Nigeria, have huge commercial activity, and be able to funnel them out to different regions. So we will have huge commercial impact within the region. So our plan, our master plan is in order. All the safety policies and regulations and infrastructure that we have put in place are now yielding results, which means we are doing the right thing. And so we must continue doing the right thing. And like they say in aviation, safety is not a destination, is a process. So we must continue to improve what we have in place. We must ensure that what we have put in place is in tandem with what ICAO expects Nigeria to and not just Nigeria, all the nations to have. For instance, we are number 12. Two, we have surpassed the past mark of 50. We are now 67%. That's what we've earned. And it's really unprecedented in a very short time. So we're working in a very accelerated manner to ensure that the safety we have accomplished, we do not lose it, and we will build on that. We made a promise to Nigerian people that we'll give them aviation that we all will aspire to. We'll give them an aviation sector that represents all of us. Again, which aviation sector that is safe, that is sustainable, and that will grow and continue to grow. So we're not really bothered about the distraction. It's expected because people naturally resist change, but change definitely we must have for us to grow. So we're very focused, we'll remain focused. Nigerians deserve better than what they had in the past. We will transform.
Well, that was the Aviation Minister there, Stella Odua, talking about what they are doing in this sector and the import of the elevation of Nigeria to that position of the President of ICAO. You heard the Minister there, and for me, what caught my fancy is the issue of what you are doing and the desire to continue on that track with a view to getting it better. How much are you challenged by this ascendancy of Nigeria to the #1 position in ICAO with respect to continuing along those lines that the Minister clearly stated a while ago?
Yes, thank you. Indeed, safety, like the Honorable Minister said, is not a destination. In fact, you cannot say I have arrived when it comes to safety. Just in the same way, I mean, she's a stickler for excellence. She insists that excellence must be a way of life when it comes to work. It is a process. It's not something you say, look, I have done it today and I won't do it tomorrow. You must continue to be on that level of excellence. And I like also to say something that is often said is a balance in the business world, that in a competitive world, you must run very fast to remain where you are. In other words, if you have come first today, of course, everybody wants to beat you. So you must double your speed.
Because you become the standard. You
become a standard. You have raised the bar. That is what we have done in aviation within this period of 2 years. And so it challenges us, therefore, to continue to run faster than we did in order to, faster than we did in order to remain where we are. That is to remain on top. Whichever way, that's a big challenge. So all those things we have been doing, it all derives from the aviation master plan. Everything you are seeing, I mean, to me, that is the excellence. I mean, that is the beauty in what you are doing. Because we drew up a master plan, and it gives us so much joy that it appears that everything is falling in line.
Now, before we go, I would also like to know from you, because when you go out there on the streets, there are quite a number of Nigerians who probably do fly or they don't fly, and they seem not to be in tune with this music you are playing. Does it mean you are not giving out enough information, or there are some other reasons why most of them don't see it the way you are saying it?
Well, giving enough information, I don't think I want to comment on that. I mean, indeed, that is why we are here. But also, some of the things they are hearing, we must bear in mind that at all times, we must separate facts from fiction. We must separate bias from reality. We must separate the things that are from political activities, comments and so on, and insinuations. That's it. You know, if you ask me, are the terminal buildings better than they were? I mean, unquestionably, the answer is yes. Have we stopped improving? No, we'll keep improving, and that is what we have promised Nigerians. You ask me, are the weather reports better than they were? I mean, the world...
like those days when they say there will be rain and you see very heavy sun.
Wherever I go, even people I don't know, to this marketplace, to shops, people stop and approach me. Are you not Dr. Anuforom? Did you? I say, keep on doing the good job. I say, well, thanks be to God, and let the glory go to my minister.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I wish we have more time to continue to take a look at these developments, but I do know that sometime next weekend we'll still have another opportunity of taking a look at some of these developments with a view to getting Nigerians to also know what's happening and also allowing you also have impact or have a feel of what they also think about the things you are doing in the aviation sector. Thank you very much for joining us this Saturday to take a look at these developments.
It is my pleasure.
Well, we've been joined this Saturday morning by the Director General of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, Dr. Anthony Anuforom, and I can tell you that's where we'll be drawing the curtain on this edition of Aviator World. I'm Ehidu Aniago, standing in for your regular anchor, Ukweve Ubodaga. Until next weekend, we'll bring you another edition. Please try as much as possible to stay in tune and do have a seamless flying experience.